I'm so happy when it works. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm your host, Wendy Stuart.
And I'm Tym Moss. Hi.
And it's so great to have you here with us today.
Absolutely.
We're very excited because, Chauncey, our regular producer, is actually, God bless him, is seeing Hamilton.
Yes.
Somebody took him to Hamilton and he's going to love it.
Absolutely. That's an amazing show. And we're very happy for him. But I'm like punching buttons and trying to do the video clips and stuff. We'll see how that goes.
Yes. And anything could happen at any time. So please just have patience. Bear. I love the word bear. Right. There. So Tim.
So how was your weekend?
Oh my gosh.
Or your week?
My week has become consumed with Night of 1,000 Gowns for the Imperial Court, which is coming up this weekend. I picked up a to die for gorgeous dress from B&B Couture, who's been dressing me for all my events. It is absolutely stunning. I mean, it's encrusted with pale violet blue and off-white sequins, and it goes way down to the floor, which should be very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm not very good at walking in heels and having a big old honking dress down there. But we'll see.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, the whole weekend is Imperial Court events. Mm-hmm. Anyone who wants to join us, Slate. On Friday night, we're going to be welcoming all the out-of-town Imperial Court members and their friends who have come here for the Saturday night event. But we're giving a free show. Do you remember that joke? Free show. Do you remember that one? Oh my God. It was such, I'm on a tangent right now, but it was about a free show, a poodle named Free Show. And somebody drives past this woman. She's calling her poodle named Free Show. And some driver yells out, "Stick it out the window, lady, and cool it off." That's about Free Show.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But anyway, we're going to have a free show at Slate, which is in the 20s. It's a gorgeous bar. And the show starts at 7:30. I am also in Evan Lawrence's show that night. I got to tell you, honey, it's a Tym Moss kind of night. It's a double header. We are doing a show called The Crowning at Otto's Shrunken Head, and I love being in Evan's show. They're always so fun. They're campy. The people are all great. So that will be at 7:00 at Otto's Shrunken Head. And if you have any questions about anything and you're watching, you can always text me. Wendy answers all texts. How was your week?
Mine was equally as busy. Yeah. Because I'm helping a friend of mine co-produce a film. It's a film short out in Staten Island, and we're in pre-production right now. So I've had meetings with him this week. I've another show that I do, which is Comedy Sex Show. We are starting that back up, and had shot a few episodes this week out in Brooklyn. And then Saturday night, I hosted a gay party down at Chelsea Market at Ayata Thai, it was packed. It was wonderful. It was so much fun. It was such a good time. Is
this a monthly party?
Well, this was a one-time thing to see how it went, and it went so well that they want to do it more.
That's great.
And I also did my taxes this week, so it's been a week.
Tim, you're ahead of me on the taxes. My God, I'm doing them after I leave here today. I'm doing my taxes.
There you go.
I have to deduct everything. My life is just one big goddamn deduction.
Right.
But you forgot to tell everybody the most important thing of all. Tim is going to North Carolina.
Oh, that one. I forgot about that. Tomorrow.
That's why I'm here. Tell everybody about the show.
Well, yeah, we're doing 50 Shades of Gay in Asheville, North Carolina.
Hey, love Asheville.
We have a show at the Majestic Theater tomorrow night at 9, on Thursday night at 9, and Saturday night at 7 p.m. So yay, if you're in Asheville. But also, I'm also in major production mode right now for my birthday celebration, 60th birthday, April 30th. At the Q.
And everybody's invited.
Yeah, it's free.
It's free, and it starts at 6:00.
Yeah, well, 6:30 the doors open.
Okay.
7:00 the show starts. So it's best to get there early because I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few people.
And we're going to have dancing too, right?
There's a little bit of dancing. Yeah,
I like to
some
dance.
dancing. There's there'll be cake and afterward and all kinds of stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'll be talking more about it as it gets closer. So yay!
And I'm so excited. All right, there's
today.
a reason Tim has on like this metal shirt. First of all, where did you get this?
I don't remember.
Did you haul it out of the closet?
Yes, I did.
Special for
today's guest.
Special for today's guest, because you can't mention heavy metal without mentioning our guest today. But it said that he defies all music genre categories because he
Right?
does jazz as well. And you know what? He's brilliantly gifted, and he is the go-to guy for jazz, for rock projects. And I'm so excited because we have him here in the flesh.
Yes.
Tim and I always love that. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Alex Skolnick. Come on in.
Oh, yeah, if you can. There we go.
Okay, I'll scoot over.
Yay.
Okay, are we all?
We're
so
all
cozy
there.
right
I know
here.
it is.
Yeah.
It's cozy. Are we good?
Okay.
Okay, everybody's
I'm
there
good.
at the same time.
Everybody comfy?
Everyone's good. It's amazing what we make work here. Thank you
is
so
good.
much for coming in person today.
Thanks for having
Absolutely.
me.
We do appreciate this.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
So
So,
Here
how
in
are
in the
you?
flesh. It's good to be here.
I know.
Live
Finally, yes.
no, I know you really hit the nail on the head. It's just
Yeah.
good. We never think about that. Good to be here when
Yeah,
we say
absolutely.
it, right? With,
Literally good to be
with
here.
everything that's been going on. So we were so lucky and happy to have you in person because I know you're Brooklyn based, but
Mhm.
you go out to LA a lot also, don't you?
I go around the country. I'm about to do a tour with Techno all over
Mhm.
North America. I do occasional concerts out in LA and from the San Francisco Bay Area, where I'm
Nice.
from. But most of the time, Brooklyn.
But
Yeah.
so based out of
I'm
Brooklyn.
pretty close to here. Yeah.
But I'm very excited you're getting ready to do a tour, and I would think this is the first tour in 2 years.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is a tour that was
Oh,
supposed to
nice.
happen 2 years ago. And
right.
It got moved, then it got moved again. and
Yeah.
if we move it this time, there will be a riot. So
Yeah.
we have to.
No,
finish it.
there'll be no
Yeah.
moving of the tour this
No more,
time.
Yeah, and it's so nice. Everything is starting to move now, and people are getting out. Like again, we're heading into Asheville tomorrow, down to North Carolina. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Asheville is
we're-
so beautiful.
great
too.
Things are happening.
Yeah.
Things are moving. So.
Yeah, and if things move, then creative artists can move too.
That's right. That's right.
So, how did you spend the pandemic then, Alex? What was all this like for you?
Well, I did something. I did got some new hobbies.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, we love hearing about hobbies on this
Um,
show.
But they, the hobby, it ended up being a bit of a profession. So the main one was a podcast, which I
Nice.
thought about doing for a long time.
Uh-huh.
But it took time. It's a very time-consuming
Yes,
endeavor.
Yeah,
as
right.
we know.
Yeah.
And originally, my idea was going to be these living room jam sessions. So I had a
Sweet.
few musicians that had come over, and I'd recorded these jam sessions.
I love
Oh,
it.
that's
And I
awesome.
would turn that into a little interview jam show. So I had a
Uh-huh.
few of those, but once the pandemic started, it wasn't safe to be in the same room. So,
Oh yeah,
Right.
you're right. In an apartment.
so what am I going to do?
probably.
Yeah, but of course,
right.
by then Zoom is here,
Yeah.
so I was able to put this podcast together, and including these sessions and then Zoom interviews. And
Yeah,
I
you
got-
put the interviews
Mhm.
in on top of it. People love the interviews because they want to get to,
Yeah.
like we're getting to know you. They want to get to know the guests.
It's a lot of
intimately.
fun. Yeah, so
It is
there's
fun.
that. Sometimes there's field trips to a music store.
Oh my God, I
I
see.
love
I
it.
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. How do you shoot the field trips on a live stream?
I just record everything. It's all audio.
so.
I'm,
oh,
okay.
okay.
I've just started to get video content.
Mhm.
I have a network, the Osiris network. They have a couple hundred podcasts with many different musicians, and they're saying video is the way to go. You don't have to video the whole thing like this, but I need to have some video content,
Uh-huh.
Right.
and then we're going to have the other episodes on YouTube. So the podcast has been great.
Love it.
My
No.
most famous guest has been Peter Frampton.
Get out!
Sweet.
Get out! Yeah, Peter
Love it.
Frampton. Wow.
Yeah.
Had you ever worked with him before?
No.
Oh,
Never met. It was a
that's
great,
so cool.
great excuse to meet him. And then
Right?
another hero of mine is Pat Metheny. He's like a personal
Uh-huh.
hero. And
I just want to
him-
jump back to Peter Frampton for
Huh?
just a second. Like, what was the process involved with getting Peter Frampton? That is a household name.
Yeah, well, he has a book out. He has a memoir.
Oh, okay.
Who knew? Good. That's why we do these shows. What is the name of it? Can you?
Do you feel like I do?
Oh, do you feel like I do? I
Yeah.
love it.
I love it.
And a friend of mine actually suggested it. Like, he has a book out.
That's
He's probably
great.
gonna
Yeah.
be promoting it. Maybe
Right.
his publicist would be up for and-
Nail it. Right. Nail it.
yeah, and I just thought, and also this was a really cool thing that happened. So he had reached out to me on Twitter, because I did another hobby was doing these videos. I started being more active on YouTube, and I did a video of me playing an old solo by George Benson from the late 60s.
Oh, sweet.
One of my favorites.
And
before he was even singing.
Jazz.
Turns out, jazz guitar. And it turns out that's Peter Frampton's favorite guitar player.
Oh,
and he knew the
sweet.
song.
Love it.
And I think some mutual friend had shared this online, and he had reached out to me and was complimenting about this.
God.
So that was a thrill in itself. So
I was going to say, what
Isn't it
happened when you get a
really?
message from Peter?
Oh,
Hello,
yeah,
this is Peter calling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally we've interacted a few times on Twitter.
That's
But
so cool.
another friend of mine had pushed me like, you could get him on your podcast.
That's so
that is
cool.
really cool.
Yeah. So it worked out really, really well.
He's a really nice
And
guy.
he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I've
Very
heard
down to
that.
earth.
Yeah, I've heard
It's just easy to talk
that.
to.
Well, that just always amazes me. Even the night I met you at the event for Randy Edelman,
Yeah.
you know,
that was a great
you had long hair, you have this highlight in the front, and I'm like, you were sitting there, and I was trying to think, gee, you know, is he nice? Is he full of himself? Oh, what the hell? I don't care. I have no filter anyway. I'll just talk to him, right? No, but you were very nice and approachable, and then a couple of people told me like you are an amazing guitarist. So I'm like, you know, that is just so totally cool. So that's what I hear from everyone. You're an amazing guitarist. People even call you a prodigy. How did this all happen?
Oh, well, I'm very dedicated to it.
Yeah, but you know, it takes more than dedication.
That's true.
Why don't we rewind, go back to the beginning? Where are you from originally?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm from Berkeley, California.
Okay, from the San Francisco area.
Yes. And I've been in New York since the late 90s.
Okay.
And people think that's a strange transition to go from growing up on the West Coast to moving to New York. Usually it's the other way around. People escape the East Coast. But my parents are East Coast academics that had positions at UC Berkeley. So I think New York was in my blood.
Oh, yeah.
You are total New York.
Yeah,
you seem very, very New York.
People were asking me directions on the street.
Yeah.
The day I moved. Literally.
I just got here.
The day I moved.
That's great.
Yeah. So I knew I was in the right place.
Right.
Yes.
But I grew up out there, and I'm most known for a band called Testament.
Yep.
Which is...
How did that form?
So that formed in the mid to the 1980s, and there was a big heavy metal scene in the San Francisco Bay Area, kind of like your show. I think that's a good effort. Good effort.
Heavy metal, right there.
You can wear that at one of the concerts.
Yes.
Nobody would bat an eyelash.
Tim, you'll fit right in.
Yeah. But there was a lot of activity happening there. I think just, you know, my generation and folks, I don't know, give or take a few years older and younger, we were all sort of we were in the shadow of, you know, the 60s Bay Area. Haight-Ashbury, you know, the Jefferson Airplane.
But metal's like so different than that.
Well, exactly. We wanted to do something different because we were so
and was that kind of the beginning of the metal takeover?
Well,
was it kind of in the 80s, or like how did you decide, oh, I like that music? Did you have groups that you listened to or guitarists that you
like Kiss was a forerunner.
Well, Kiss was a big
that was my first concert ever,
and Kiss was one of my early. I knew Gene Simmons, and that was like my generation. Sweet. And that was really incredible. But then the heavy metal, right? Like Black Sabbath and
it's interesting.
Metallica.
Well, Kiss was the one that did it for me, and that was really, I was really young. I was like 10 years old.
What was it? A 10-year-old Alex is like in Berkeley, California. What was it?
Well, because this was before anybody knew what they looked like. You know, they were
with the makeup.
They were hidden with the makeup. They would avoid photographs, not in costume and not in makeup. So It was like these comic book superheroes. They were like
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
rock
Right.
version of the Avengers. You
Yeah,
thought-
well, then
it.
they even had a cartoon, and
yeah, they had a cartoon.
yeah.
They had a
they
comic
were
book.
like superheroes.
For
So
a 10-year-old kid, it's a perfect
Yeah.
superhero.
yeah, so that was my gateway, and then they played guitar. But I loved the Beatles.
Yeah.
I still do. And I was like early rock and roll for some reason. At one time that's what I thought I was going to get into, because I was just a big fan of Chuck Berry,
Yeah.
Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yes. Wow.
I never got tired of that music. But then as I got into harder rock, that was an influence too. I mean, you can hear that in some of the Kiss stuff. Certainly Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin rock and roll.
I totally love Led Zeppelin. Stairway to Heaven is my favorite song ever.
Rock and roll is like
classic.
a tribute to Chuck Berry.
Right.
So the seeds were planted, but I think I got into the heavy metal because around the time I was in high school, there were just a lot of bands playing locally.
Right.
I had an older brother who played for a while, and he wasn't in a metal band, but he knew guys that were in metal bands. We would sometimes go to these concerts, and the band Metallica was just launching at that time. They had their first album out, and they had come from Southern California.
Okay,
but they had relocated to the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, so they were up there.
They were, yeah, they were.
There you go.
Wow.
Originally, but for a very short time. But by that time, they were clearly on their way. I don't think even then nobody knew they would be like they are now. Now they're mentioned in the same breath as Springsteen and groups like that. But at the time, they were there, so there were a lot of groups, that were influenced by them. The group Slayer,
of course,
Slayer, that name. So they came from also Southern California, which is really interesting. Some of the biggest bands were based in Southern California.
Why do we think this is? Is it something in the water?
Well, I think they were, in the Bay Area, we were sort of rebelling against,
the
peace, love,
the hippie thing.
the hippie,
right. The
exactly.
Haight-Ashbury hippie thing.
Exactly. We needed something harder and more energetic,
more edgy.
And then the groups that came from Southern California, they were rebelling against the glam rock. So like Motley Crue had launched in the very early 80s.
Yeah.
And then there were a whole series of groups that followed.
Alice Cooper.
Yeah, well,
Alice
Cooper was way before that, actually. He was more the same time period as Kiss.
Right.
Yeah,
from Detroit.
Right.
But also the way he did it, there was something acceptable about the makeup and everything. And Kiss, it was totally acceptable. But
well, that was part of the gimmick or part of the presentation.
But in Los Angeles,
exactly, it was like a shtick, right?
Yeah, it became a different thing in Los Angeles. It became, Motley Crue, Poison, a lot of groups that maybe aren't as remembered now. Rat,
you know
what I mean. So groups like Metallica and Slayer, they were rebelling against that and that whole scene, and they found great acceptance in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay.
So
because of how raw they were.
Yeah, raw, no theatrics, just balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really the exact opposite, right? If you follow the history, the whole Haight-Ashbury, peace, love, flower children, and which your parents were probably a part of.
They were a little older than that.
Right.
Most of my friends had, they at least had parents who had either gone to Woodstock or were fans of Woodstock. They were
that's so
Woodstock
funny.
generation.
My parent was in Woodstock.
Yeah. My parents were a little bit older there. So, they kind of grew up on Sinatra and the big bands and stuff like that. So they thought I was crazy. I'm playing, not only am I playing rock and roll, but I'm playing this unlistenable racket. That's what it was. It was a racket.
Alex is up in his room again playing that.
Yeah, that's okay.
That racket.
No, I like the
the enunciation.
Oh yeah,
the passion.
It was like, what the hell is that racket? Oh my god!
I can totally hear them saying that. But you did at 16. You were already with a rock group, right?
Testament.
So you just felt that.
Yeah,
that was who you were.
Well, I had tried to put bands together, and it was very difficult when I was in high school. nowadays it seems like there's a lot more young people who play instruments.
Mhm.
You can see them on YouTube. At the time, I had played for several years. I'd been playing guitar since I was 10, and most people were starting guitar once they were in their early teens.
Right,
The ones
right.
who played that had played for a long time were usually, the violinists and piano
Mhm,
players.
mhm.
Yeah,
who
they were that.
So I was one of the only ones. I realized, okay, I need to join an existing band.
I
And
see.
the band that would become Testament, it
Mhm.
wasn't called that at the time, but the band that would become Testament was playing around, and they were one of the support acts for groups like Slayer.
Sweet.
Megadeth was a brand new band at that time.
Wow.
Yeah,
And they had-
you're definitely in the right place at the right
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
with
they
them,
would
you
play
know?
Megadeth actually contained an ex-member of Metallica, Dave Mustaine,
Mhm.
and did their first show in the Bay Area in Berkeley at this
Nice.
venue. And Testament would support them. So I would hear about this band, hey, there's
Mhm.
this up and coming band. You should check them out. You should hear. And I kept hearing about them. And then I did go to see them. And I thought they're really good. Oh, this will definitely be the next band in line that's going to go somewhere. And then when they heard the guitar player left the band,
Oh my
Oh,
God.
That's I love those stories,
Yeah, what-
right?
And you were
What's gonna-
already familiar with their
Yeah.
style
like
and
what's
their
going to
music.
happen to the band now?
Did you have to audition, or they just like kind of took you? Some people, they know of, and you don't go through an audition
Yeah,
process. What was
met
what was your
them? I
process?
played. I think at the time they didn't try out anybody else.
so you were the
Nice.
only, I love that, the only
Sweet.
game
Found
in
him.
town.
Found him.
That's what I go for when there are no other choices.
I
So
like
you
that.
were the
Well,
only choice.
I was listening to different types of guitar players too. Like I wasn't as into that style of heavy metal at
Right,
the time.
right.
I liked going to the shows,
Mm-hmm.
but as far as music and the type of playing I did, I liked Eddie Van Halen. He was
Okay.
my
Oh, yeah,
favorite
right,
guitarist.
right,
The late great Randy Rhoads, who played for Ozzy
Uh-huh.
Osbourne.
right.
Both of those players were I was very influenced by. So I was listening to them and not really a lot of the people playing very fast heavy metal at the time were listening to punk rock and the group Motorhead. That was very influential.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, there were so many influences in the 80s and a variety of. That's when a lot of genres were hitting the scene and starting
to
off
your
on their
point,
own.
yeah, Tim made a good point. There were
Yeah.
a lot of genres. I know for me personally, I loved Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, that was a
I
little
actually, it was
He was
later,
great.
but I still can play Kurt Cobain music. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
incredible
you-
song.
And
But you
Incredible
had said
songwriter.
that you started playing at 10?
Yeah.
So what made you pick up a guitar and say, "Oh, I want to learn this"? At
Oh well,
10?
it was definitely Kiss. That was around the
Okay.
time
Okay.
I love it.
I became a Kiss fan.
Uh-huh.
I went to the concert. My older brother was going, and then I kind of threw a fit. And
I
were
want
gonna
to
take me-
go too. Right?
Yeah.
And your parents are like, let them go.
Yeah.
Just let them go. They'll get it
Yeah,
out of their
great.
system.
And I don't think I've been as affected by a concert since. And I've had,
Uh-huh.
I have been affected by concert, but I'm at 10 years old,
That's
Yeah.
huge.
seeing Kiss.
Right.
I knew every song.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
that's how big a fan I
Uh-huh.
was.
And so you picked up the guitar and started learning guitar. And then at 16, you get into this group, this
Yeah.
band.
Yeah.
Did you have any, because at 16, you're not old enough to drink. You're not
That's
even old
right.
enough to vote.
That's right.
Did you run into any problems with playing at a bar or anything like that? Or,
I looked a little older than I was.
okay.
And two of the guys, Eric and Lou, looked like half their age.
Uh-huh.
They were
Okay.
several years older. They were
Uh-huh.
like
Wow.
already in their early 20s. They would always get carded. They would always get asked for ID.
Oh, come on,
Me,
Alex.
they
You didn't,
just-
you didn't
Yeah,
have
they
fake
were like-
ID.
Yeah, I didn't
Did you?
need
You
it.
didn't need fake
I
ID.
didn't
love
need
it.
one.
I love it. I
He used
love
the
it.
other two as decoys.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly
Send
what
them in
happened.
first.
Right.
I was also trained at this. So
Uh-huh.
I was going to concerts when I was 15, even
Wow.
before I was in the band.
Hmm.
And one way we would get into concerts, my friend, we would carry a speaker cabinet into the venue.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yes.
because we knew the bands and
Yes.
uh,
Wait, Tim,
like-
that's genius.
That
If
is,
you ever
that's
wanted to
brilliant.
interview a group, that's great. That's great. I love that.
I mean, we got the band's permission. Yeah, we knew them, and
Oh, that's so cool.
like, hey, can we help you guys out.
Yeah.
Sure. You know, and
think
and once you carry
We're
the stuff
roadies.
in, you're
Yeah.
you're a roadie. You're
right, right. I'm here with the band.
At least
That's
that I,
so
I think
cool.
now things are probably more strict.
Well, because of all
Yeah.
the security and
All the
stuff
But-
now,
but
but that's
crazy
a great
stuff that's
story.
happened.
Great
But at the
release.
time,
So
yeah,
you were
you can-
getting into these concerts.
Yeah, I went
and
to-
I mean, because that's the way my best teacher is experience.
Yeah.
Like actually sitting there and watching somebody doing it, and I how they perform, their
Yes.
performance style, and all of that. You know what I mean? Like just
Oh,
from
absolutely.
observing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great for me. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I watched a lot of these bands, and I just realized, okay, I can do this. I need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
just throw
You just
myself
do
in
it.
the water
Just
and
do
do
it.
it. I was very nervous the first few shows.
Oh God, yeah, I
that was
imagine.
very difficult. But
Uh-huh.
it gets a little easier. and
Yep.
a little easier.
And you begin to settle into it,
Yeah.
into the role, and so when it's like, oh yeah, I
Yeah.
got this.
Yeah, and it's kind of amazing to think of it now. Within 2 years, we were recording our first album.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
They
We had a
Nice.
record deal, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So at 18, you had your first record deal.
Yes.
What I'm
Um,
curious, like what was going on,
That would
like
be
at
so
home
thrilling.
when this was going on. Your parents are academics.
Oh
you're,
yeah.
You're definitely different than the way you grew up.
Oh yeah. They thought.
So
it
how did
was-
everybody deal with you?
They thought it was crazy. Like, why are you doing this? This is
Crazy.
madness.
Alex, why is he doing this? Were they talking to you about where you're going to go to college?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what was
Yeah.
the plan for you?
Yeah, the plan was, we live in Berkeley. There's this great university right here.
Right. That they have access to.
Yeah,
But you were having none
So
of it.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
exactly did your parents do? What kind of academia?
Very advanced academy. So my father
Okay.
is a towering figure in the field of sociology.
At Berkeley?
Yeah, at Berkeley.
He
basically-
Wow.
He's credited
Wow.
with helping launch the sociology program.
Wow.
Yeah, that's huge.
incredible.
That's really huge.
Yeah.
So
And
PhD, both parents.
both
are
parents
PhDs,
PhDs from
yeah.
Wow.
Yale.
Uh-huh.
Yale PhDs.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there's Alex.
Yeah.
I just want to thrash.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, it's kind of their fault too, because they raised me, in this environment. I'm going to these public schools. Most of my friends' parents weren't like that. I didn't
Right.
know any other academic,
Uh-huh.
like
Right,
that.
right,
I didn't-
exactly.
and it was just this strange thing. Like I didn't understand what they did. It was so. My mother's
Yeah.
a research
Mhm.
psychologist too. So
Wow.
Yeah, these are all very
Wow.
heavy duty degrees.
yeah. So they're talking about grant proposals and
Yep.
research conferences and statistics and
Yeah, that
I
made
just- I
you
don't-
want to
That's
jump
just-
out of your skin.
That's
didn't
just the
it?
typical dinner conversation.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it was
you're
just
like-
the Brits have a word for it, drudgery. It was drudgery.
No, I'm loving this conversation because you're bringing up a lot of stuff of kids that come from those kinds of backgrounds.
Uh-huh.
Believe me, all over there are yous, a lot of them,
Oh, I
and
know.
they're like the odd duck in the family, and
Yeah.
it's
Did-
hard. It's it's hard fitting. It's hard how you feel about yourself.
Yeah,
Did-
absolutely.
Was there a point when they finally came to the realization and just let you do your own thing?
Yeah, well, I think at a certain point they realize
Yeah. It's
It was a
it
lost
doesn't matter.
cause too.
they can throw a fit all they want.
Right, I'm going to do my
They-
thing
I'll just grab my guitar and leave.
Yeah.
Go on, hit the road.
and shred.
I mean, nothing's
Shredding.
going to stop me. Yeah.
I love that.
So, and I think they started coming around when they saw Testament supporting the band Judas Priest
Of
Mm,
course, you.
wow.
Yeah.
at the Oakland Coliseum,
Wow.
where the Golden State Warriors still play.
Right.
And
right.
so, okay, that's a real.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
They could identify with that.
Well, I
Uh,
think that exposed them to the size
Yeah.
of what you were doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then once I started expanding, I started writing for guitar magazines. I started writing in
Sweet.
instruction columns, and at that time, nobody in that style of metal was doing that. It was kind of
Uh-huh.
I started
Wow.
reading about all these guitar magazines, which of course I knew nothing about. What, first of all, made you do that? How did they find you? And here we go. That's a little academic.
Okay, well, I mean,
That's a little academic,
Yeah,
isn't
right.
it?
oh, it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So how did this happen?
Well, the same way you have fashion magazines, right?
Right.
You have Cosmopolitan and Vogue.
Right.
So in guitar, it's much smaller readership,
Mhm.
but
specific.
you have
Yeah.
Guitar Player, Guitar World. Back then, you had another one. It's not around anymore, but called Guitar for the Practicing Musician. And for some reason, I got contacted by two of these magazines like within the same week, and I think part of it was they want to stay current.
Yeah, right.
So they
And
wanted
you were hot. They wanted,
they want a younger columnist, somebody that does this type of music, and I guess they could tell I was well spoken. And I ended up writing for both the magazines at different times.
Cool,
Sweet.
very cool.
And,
Yeah, nice little side gig that you weren't.
Yeah, there was a little
anticipating,
side gig, and it definitely helped earn me some respect with my parents because I'm actually
Uh-huh.
writing a column.
And your opinion and your
Yeah.
observation.
Right, and people
yeah.
people are reading it, so you have approval of the public.
Right. It's not the
Right.
Nation magazine or the Atlantic, but it's
Mhm.
it's something.
But
Yeah.
you know what? In
It's
your
a
field,
nationally.
in your field,
Right,
it really
right.
is.
It actually did matter. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
then and then once I started playing with musicians outside of the genre too, they could relate to that more. So now they love coming to hear me at places like
Oh,
the
that's
Iridium.
so
and,
cool.
I
Yeah.
think that's so
Now,
great.
so then did you come to New York to study?
Yeah. So
And you changed genre at that point,
yeah,
right?
I had a whole period, my late 20s and early 30s, where it was a period of kind of keeping a lower public profile,
Mm-hmm.
and which was easier to do back then because we
Yeah.
had the web, but we didn't. It wasn't like now.
Oh,
We didn't-
right,
we
Right, it
didn't
wasn't
have-
right, but the
exactly.
social media hadn't
We didn't.
exploded.
There wasn't
right.
There wasn't
Right.
Facebook and Instagram. There wasn't.
It wasn't monitoring your every move.
smartphones.
and Twitter
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah. Like if you had a website, that was very
Right. Yeah.
I
Very
do-
advanced.
I do remember my friend putting my first website. Oh, I'm an actor. Do I really need a website? Do other actors have websites? Do people go to this thing called a website? And everyone said the same thing. Well, you need to have it.
Yeah, so that's where it was. It was like, okay, maybe I had a very basic website at the time. And I just took a few years and I just said, I wanted to see what it was like going to college. I had never gone to college. I had
Hmm.
Your
I felt
parents
like I
must have
said-
been tickled.
Yeah, they
pink.
were very happy. about that.
And so you chose to go to college to study guitar. Is
Well,
that right? Or
I didn't. It's funny that I didn't really need to study guitar. Like,
Right.
I had plenty of guitar technique, but I wanted to study just music at the university level.
I
So-
get that. Yeah.
It wasn't. It was the people I was studying with were piano players and horn players, and just learning, learning from folks like that.
Right.
Learning how to-
But that's a whole other
Yeah.
style because
Yeah, it's a
usually
whole
at the
other
university
discipline.
level it's either classical or jazz or a combination of the two.
Yeah, so this was jazz.
which are well, actually, I was just going to say very structured, but in actuality, jazz is quite the opposite of. It's a very structured, unstructured.
Yeah,
Right. and very layered and very specific. And for what you had been doing before,
yeah.
it's amazing that you instinctively decided that you needed to do this.
And I
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
intellectually
Yeah.
and musically that was probably very challenging too.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Well, I would come. I started coming to New York for visits. Interestingly, when my folks retired from Berkeley, my father was at NYU for a bit at the
Mhm.
law
Cool.
school here, so I would come visit, and I got to know musicians here,
Mhm.
and I was just sort of became immersed in the jazz guitar world.
Nice.
Which
And
is
it
which
was-
is here. It
It's
really
here.
is
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
And it's just a very different energy than in the San
Uh-huh.
Francisco Bay Area.
Now,
Yeah.
You studied at the new school. I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you what made you choose the new school.
Yeah, I chose the new school because it's got one of the most respected jazz programs.
There you
Mm.
go.
And the
Right.
country.
Mhm.
Right. So you did your research.
Yeah. So it's also, but it's it's also a respected school.
Right.
Mhm.
So it wasn't like going to say Berklee College of Music, with
Right.
all respect to Berklee College of Music. I mean, that's a real pure music
That's
school.
supposed to be an incredible
Mhm.
music school.
And it's a lot of technique as well, which I
Right.
don't really need. You
Right.
know?
Right,
Again,
because you had the technique.
I have the technique.
Yeah.
I needed honest feedback. I needed to be around, the faculty, which include, people who are on records. I have jazz.
I love
records.
it.
Nice.
And just and also the outside of music, the other classes you take, they have very respected departments. They have a respected creative writing department.
Yeah, they do.
Mhm.
Philosophy
Well,
department. So
it's
I got
called-
to study all these other subjects.
It is
too.
interesting to me because talking to you, it's like you've come full circle from where you came from, because it's called the New School for Social Research, right?
That's right. The
Mhm.
full thing,
Dad
yeah.
with sociology, mother psychology.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Right, right. And
That's
here
interesting,
you
yeah.
are. It is funny how all roads lead to Rome eventually, whether you realize it's happening or not. And
Yeah.
and there you are.
And usually you have somebody to look to. There's different tracks.
Right.
You have, if you're an aspiring professor, there's a tenure track. Or
Right.
If you're an
Mhm.
athlete, right, there's different tracks. So and so
Mhm.
Yeah.
went to this university and then got picked by a team. So I was doing the thing. I'd never seen anybody do it. I'd never seen somebody go from being in a rock band, let alone a thrash heavy metal band, to attending a university and studying music at the university level.
I think it's great though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
That's
right.
so
That can
cool.
only make you bigger in what you
Yeah.
are. And
Yeah.
what's
just
been written about
expansion.
you
Yeah.
is that you defy genre. I kind of
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
that. you
Yeah, and
know?
also I
Or-
didn't care what was going to happen. Like,
I
right.
love
what's
that.
the worst thing that's going to happen? I'm
Yeah.
I'll maybe end up being like the teachers there. One day,
Right.
Yeah.
I'll teach at a university. I'll go on. I'll further my education. But by the time I had finished at the new school, like I was super inspired, and I had
Which is
started-
important.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was getting hired to play. I was playing as a guitarist for hire around New York.
Wow.
I started my trio with guys
Uh-huh.
I had met. in the
Alex
music-
Skolnick Trio
Alex Skolnick Trio,
Yeah.
which is still going to this
Yep.
day. We just
Love
played
that.
at
just
the
played
Iridium.
Iridium, which is one of
Yeah.
my favorite places
Uh-huh.
to play. And
Down in the basement.
yeah.
It's off Times Square.
And that all wouldn't have happened had I not gone to the new school. And then
Yeah.
so while that's happening, I had done one record with a rock band outside of Testament, and the band was called Savatage. And
I love that. I do love the names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sabotage.
not with a B though, with a V.
Sabotage,
Yeah.
like
Sabotage.
savage.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So it's a combination, yeah.
Yeah.
of
Savage.
Sabotage and Savage.
That's hot.
But this is really interesting. So the guy who produced that record, his name was Paul O'Neill. May he rest in peace. And this was a couple years before I moved to New York. And the whole time he's a big talker, and he was going on and on about this project he has. He wants to combine like theater with rock music. And
Oh, nice.
and sure enough, he took the band Savatage, and that became the nucleus for this project of his. And the project was called the Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Get
Oh
out. Okay.
my
And if Evan Lawrence is
God.
watching, yes, it's Alex Skolnick from Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which
Yeah.
I totally knew about.
Yeah, so some people know me from that.
Right.
too.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, right around the time I was finishing at the new school, I was actually still at the new school, but I think I had like one semester to go, and the Trans-Siberian Orchestra was suddenly becoming super successful as the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, even though like musicians from Savatage and like the songwriter, there was all this overlap. So they split into two. They wanted to do two tours at the same time.
Mhm.
Wow.
So they needed to bring in an additional guitar player. And I got a call from the manager at the time. His name is David Krebs. He's kind of a legendary manager. He managed
Mhm.
Aerosmith in the 70s.
That is
Wow.
that would
He
be
was- wow.
legendary.
Yeah, he was part of Lieber and Krebs. It was they
Mhm.
managed AC/DC,
Yeah.
Scorpions.
know all these
Wow.
names.
Yeah, Aerosmith was a big one. And one of these characters that just, when you get a call, it's not him on the phone. It's the
Right.
assistant.
Yeah.
Please hold
Yeah,
for
right.
David
Right.
Krebs.
He's
Yeah.
coming.
Doesn't say hello. Just
Right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
business.
all business,
All
all
business.
business. Yeah. And yeah, and he just went, just cut to the chase. And he says, I'm listening to this record. We're looking for another guitar player, and I heard this one record that you played on. And I said, why don't you get this guitar player? Who is this guitar player?
Great imitation.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
that. I
Yeah.
want this one,
Yeah.
not the others. This one.
You're this guitar player, right? Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah. So
Now-
then that
So
started,
you were
and then I ended up touring with the Trans-Siberian
Wow.
Orchestra for
wow.
close to 10 years.
Oh my
It's a
God.
pivotal
What
point.
an
Yeah, always
experience.
during the holidays. It was a
Yeah.
holiday show. And-
What an experience.
Yeah, really.
I mean, that was
yeah.
it was
And-
such a innovative group. I mean, the sound, the content,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole
So-
everything was just so original with them.
So that got me, playing at these. It started out at theaters. We would play the Beacon, for
Mhm.
example, which
Yeah.
is a thrill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
love
love
the
the
Beacon.
Great. Yeah, me too.
But we would play places like that, Beacon, the Orpheum in Boston,
Yeah.
and it was a real theater tour. And within a few years, it became like this, arena Broadway show almost,
Mhm. Yeah.
or Christmas show, and
It's like the Rockettes.
Well, it just it evolved.
Right.
It evolved
yeah, in fact,
publicly.
we were discouraged for making that comparison, but I think
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
I think by now it's
Right.
like everybody knows that's kind of how it is.
It's
you
like,
know?
am I going
It's
to go
a-
to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra see the Rockettes?
It's a hard. It has something. I mean, that's obviously very different, but it
No,
has
it's like
something
night.
in common.
It's like night and day, but they're both at Christmas
They're
time, and they're both
both-
spectacular.
right, exactly.
Yes.
And they're both holiday shows.
Yeah.
They're both kind of over the top,
Yeah, love it.
and it was fun. It was fun. I don't do it anymore because it got to be very long. It got to be like
Mhm.
a couple months, and there were these matinee shows. We would do like 2 shows in a day. I think they've cut the show down a little bit, but it was close
How-
to 3 hours.
Wow.
That's a lot. Two,
Yeah.
in, a, 2 in a day, 3 hours
So
each.
so it got to the point like during the tour, I couldn't work on anything else because
Yeah.
it's just nobody could. It's
Right.
Right.
There's no time.
exhausting.
Yeah.
And then you get done with the tour and you're just a
Right,
wreck. I
right.
just needed like weeks to just be.
Chill.
To
Just-
zombie.
decompress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Yeah, good point.
I had I had my trio. I wanted to continue that, and by the mid 2000s, Testament we patched things up. When I left the band, things weren't great. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
had left the band except for 2 guys. And
Mhm.
anyway, they were putting the original band back together just for a few shows.
Oh,
no
sweet.
pressure.
Sweet.
And within a couple years, the band had a full resurrection. And
I
we
love
found-
that.
So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found ourselves doing big tours again and going all over the world, and that's still
Amazing.
continues.
Oh my God, Alex, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our amazing and incredible guest, Alex Skolnick. Skolnick.
That's good. I
Okay.
like Skolnicky though. Nobody, I've never
Skolnick.
heard that one.
Skolnick. Now we do have a video of your newest.
Yes. So this is
Creation.
my trio.
Yes.
This is very different than what we usually do, but I think folks
It's a
will
very
appreciate it.
fun video,
Uh-huh.
and it
Yeah,
is
it's-
called.
It's a blues song. It's called Florida Man Blues. I
I
wrote
love
it,
it, yeah.
and it's based on actual headlines that happened in Florida.
love
Everything I
it.
talk about here actually happened, even though we're recreating it in the video.
Very cool.
He's walking down the road, feeling no shame, wearing no clothes, just a skin on his frame. Got taken down to jail by the cops on the beat. They put him in the car, he tried to eat the seat. away naked just as fast as he can. They gotten too drunk in a Jacksonville bar. They were caught having sex in the boys' car. Every other day I'm reading out the Florida man. He defies evolution, tries as best he can. Every other day I'm reading about the Florida man. I said that every other day I'm reading about the Florida man. He defies evolution, tries the best he can. Here we go. He's a Florida man. He's a Florida man. He's a Florida man. He defies evolution, tries the best he can. Talking about Florida.
Second.
Good job.
Oh,
Good
yes,
job,
we did
yay.
it. And we're
Yay.
unmuted.
And
so-
we're unmuted. Oh my God, so many things happen. I love the video.
Oh,
Thank you.
right.
Tell us
Yeah.
the story behind this video because it has a story.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it's the first. I've always wanted to do a proper blues,
Proper
Right.
blues.
and normally with the trio it's instrumental. I don't
Mhm.
sing. I've begun singing a bit, but we figured, okay, let's just go for it, full vocal song. And I see these headlines about Florida, and they're going crazy in Florida, right? It's just the craziest stuff.
It's crazy.
Happens to say, Florida man has his own meme, basically.
Right,
You
right.
search, all kinds of stuff happens. So I wrote the song based on real headlines that happened
I love
in
that.
Florida.
That's
So
funny.
every verse actually happens. Like the first verse, we cut that short
Yeah.
for time, but the first verse is about a guy who brought his pet alligator into a liquor store. This actually happened.
I
on a
actually,
beer run.
and I happen to know that I was on a podcast where they were, you know how on podcasts they'll read
No.
from the headlines to have something
Yeah.
funny to talk about. That was one of
Yeah.
the ones. Yeah, it's bizarre.
So we recreated it, and the guy who
Oh,
recreates it, he was at the end of the video. It's
Right.
Yeah.
starring the alligator.
He's
That's Dave Hill. He's a noted comedian.
right.
We also have a cameo from Brian Hussein. He's an actor. He's in all kinds of
Mhm.
shows. He was in The Mandalorian, and he's
Wow.
on Big Bang Theory.
Uh-huh.
Dean Del Rey, is a great comedian. And the video was done by Adam Dubin, who's a great director. He
Mhm.
had done videos for the Beastie Boys
Yeah.
way
Nice.
back when. He's been involved with Metallica off and on over the years. I think he's currently
okay.
with-
Uh-huh.
But he loved the song, and he insisted he do the. And I figure you're kind of overqualified to do this, but if you want to do the video, okay,
The
great.
song is very fun. I love this song,
Absolutely.
and the video. I love the sense of humor in the video.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks. It's fun,
Right.
it's funny, and I like doing humorous songs, and
Mhm.
that's
Which
yeah,
is really okay. That's really interesting.
which is very
to
different.
me,
Yeah.
because metal, right? Metal
Yeah.
for me is like, ugh.
right, ultra serious.
It's
Yeah.
ultra
right.
serious, and it can bring you. In my case, it can bring me down,
Yeah.
because I get into that head.
Right. It
You
gets-
know what I'm saying? This is so
it's
light.
It's not
but
known
you've
as
done-
happy music.
No, it's not
Right.
happy.
But you've done like metal, you've done
Yeah.
jazz,
And now there's
you
blues.
do blues. I love that. I love the range.
Yeah, it's all stuff I like.
Did you play this at Iridium the other night?
We did. Yeah.
Oh, you did.
Cool.
What
Great.
was the reaction of the audience?
Yeah, it was great.
They
Everybody
loved
sang
it.
along.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like even when I listened to it,
Yeah,
it made me
yeah,
wanna
that was the closer of the show.
love it.
Well, again, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk
Hey.
with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our special guest, Alex Skolnick.
Very good.
Yay!
Okay.
Oh my God, and we have comments.
And we do have some comments.
I can't
Jerry
see them. I'm gonna Tim read
Reaganus.
them.
Yeah.
Jerry
I could
Reaganus is
barely-
a
Reaganus.
musician, artist.
Yeah.
Hi,
just
Jerry.
has, I think
Hi.
a clapping hands. Sue Stutzman, our friend, hugs and kisses. Dante says, "Happy early birthday, Tim." Thank you. And Andrea David
Andrea
says,
from the Explorers Club. Hi, Andrea.
says, I feel like we're all sitting and having a drink together.
That's
So
That sounds
so
great.
so honest and casual. This
Yes.
is great.
Yeah.
And Twyla says, "Hi."
Hi, Twyla. I love the comments. I love when people. I love when they become part of our show because
Yeah,
I'm really
that's fun.
dying for a studio audience here. That's
Yeah.
right, Tim.
Yeah, I'm
We're
looking forward to
dying
that
for a
day, yeah.
studio
One day.
audience.
Yeah,
Yes, I
someday
can.
soon.
So close, I can taste
Yeah.
it. So close.
So what
yeah.
do you have? You've got the song coming out now, or the song that's
The
out.
song
now.
is out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm writing new music. I'm
Mhm.
planning another record.
nice.
I mean, I'm involved with a lot of different projects.
Uh-huh.
You know, I've been playing with a great artist named Percy Jones, who's a bass
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
Used to play with Brian Eno. back in the 80s.
Brian Eno.
Yeah,
Wow.
we have this all improvised project
Wow.
named after our names: Percy, Alex, Kenny, Tim, Pact.
Cool.
And we're in. We actually won some polls for Jazz Times. Like
Uh-huh.
we did a record. We've done a few live recordings, so that's been a lot of
Great.
fun. And a couple other odd projects I'm doing. But Testament is going out again on tour.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Finally,
You're leaving in
Excellent.
May.
Leaving in April. No, pretty soon.
No, it's April. My God, I had May written down. That's why I wanted to get Alex on the show.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
I'm-
when are you going on? Right.
I'm back in May.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
back in May.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Wow. You can be
Yeah,
gone the
so this
whole
is perfect timing.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. So where all are you going to be touring?
So this
Yeah.
we started on the West Coast. So the first show was in San Luis Obispo, a place
Mhm.
called the Fremont, and then the House of Blues in Anaheim. House
Get
of Blues,
out.
Nice.
Yes.
House of Blues in San
Perfect.
Diego.
Sweet.
And then we start heading east, Southwest. There's a show
Uh-huh.
in Arizona,
Well, where
Albuquerque.
people
Yeah.
find a list? Is there
Yeah.
a
Is that on your
website?
website? It's not under
Or-
events. I looked.
Yeah, those dates, those will be on Testament's website.
On
So,
Testament.
Okay, so go
So
to
is
Testament.
it
On any-
testament.com or do you know?
It's actually testamentlegions.com.
Testament
I think a religious group probably registered
Testament, there we go.
Oh,
that makes
right.
sense.
So
But-
Testament
And Legion as
Legions
in
right.
the angel or the demon or something.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wait, tell me about the demon. I don't
Well,
know anything.
Legion is a demon, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's also just like a group. Yeah, the legions. Or
The Legion.
sort of-
Yeah, I
group of-
thought like
yeah.
American Legion.
Yeah.
That's where
Well,
I
Well, I think
Exactly.
there was a demon named Legion. I think.
Oh,
I
I
love
see.
that. That is so
That-
Dr. Seuss. I can't
That
believe
Yes.
wasn't
that.
the
That was a
source
teaching
of the name,
in
but that
Legion.
worked. But also it's on all other social platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and so forth. It's just at Testament.
Okay.
So
Okay,
there, it's
perfect.
just that's easy to remember.
At
Excellent.
Testament, like on Instagram, people can go to
And
Instagram.
so Testament is going to be near you. Get your tickets and go see them.
Yeah.
Most
Absolutely.
definitely.
Now, Alex, I wanted to ask you have a line of guitars.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's called ESP.
The ESP is the company,
Okay.
and it has nothing to do with
it has nothing to do with psychic.
sensory perception.
I-
No, it's,
I was all set to have one of my out there
She loves all
conversations.
that.
I do
Yeah.
love all that woo-woo stuff.
yeah, I mean, I think maybe they were conscious of that when they
Right.
called it
It's
that.
probably
but-
somebody's initials.
No,
though.
it was originally named Electronic Sound Products,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and it's
That's so non-exciting.
yeah, there's a company started in Japan,
Ah,
Mhm.
okay.
so I think they picked English words that sounded like it would fit a guitar.
Right, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know if-
it's memorable. I
and
have
it's
an
me-
ESP guitar.
Yeah, exactly. So ESP is actually a major manufacturer of instruments. I mean, you're familiar with the big ones, Gibson.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
all know.
Fender.
Right. Yeah, I
So the
actually know
next
those.
tier of guitar companies would be companies like ESP,
Got it.
Ibanez.
So
others.
there is a
That's
line.
so
Is it
cool.
named after you? Is it?
Right. So several. They have a number of signature guitars. For different
Okay.
artists. So the biggest they have are the guys in Metallica.
Okay.
They have ESP guitars.
Right.
Wow.
Signature guitars. But others maybe you don't know them, but some fans would know. Mastodon is a pretty big band. And anyway, I have a guitar as well. So I'm one of
so
several.
Cool.
But
Oh my
I
God.
so I have the guitar. We sort of developed it together. It's based on
Nice.
some of my favorite guitars that I don't want to take out of the house. Some like
No, those are
classic
your like
guitars.
like your good jewelry.
Exactly.
Keep
Yeah,
it,
right.
keep it in the vault.
Yeah, exactly. But they make them and they're great, and I take them on tour, and
That
you can
is
buy them.
amazing.
Yeah.
And you can buy them. People
Yeah.
in the public can buy them.
That's
now
so cool.
you have a book,
I was
which
just
is
gonna
really
say your
exciting.
book.
Yeah.
I have it here.
Let
I
me
forgot
grab
to.
Okay, Tim
Carry it
will
over there.
grab it.
Okay, it's just in the
Yeah.
black bag.
Okay, Tim, go right.
Okay.
Tim likes going into the
This
black
one?
bag and
Yes.
getting the book. Okay, here
Thank
we
you.
go. I swear, I thought the bag said Petco on it. I was going to say, Alex, what kind of pet do you have?
Yeah, retro fret.
Retro fret.
Oh, I apologize. It's in my
Oh,
other
okay.
bag.
Make Tim
But
work today. Tim,
this-
Tim's up,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
down, he's up, he's down.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
And I brought this back
Well,
because
let's take
just
a
so
look
I
at
could
that.
show you the most recent
Beautiful.
record of my trio.
That's
Wow.
so cool.
And that's
The
called
Alex
Conundrum.
Skolnick
This
Trio.
came out in 2019.
Nice.
And
Beautiful.
we will do another one at some point.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you're all, you know what?
Now,
is-
how can people go to your website? Do you have a
Yes.
website for that?
Yeah.
I love,
And
wait,
that's-
vinyl. I
Oh,
gotta
that's vinyl.
touch it. It's vinyl. Look,
It's vinyl.
here,
It's also on CD.
on If These Walls Could Talk, live from Pangea, we've got vinyl here today. Oh, I'm touching it. It's
Touch
so
the vinyl.
great. I love it. Okay, these guys, I don't know if people can see it. Am I holding it correctly? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very cool. The thing that hits me is like, oh my God, they're so goddamn cool. All three of
Thank
you.
you.
Was
Thank
that
you.
what
Yeah.
you were going for? Like, we're so cool.
Well, we're just ourselves. you know,
I
but
love that. We're just
My guys
ourselves.
are cool. They're
Your
very
guys
good.
are cool.
Matt Zabrowski on drums, Nathan Peck on the bass.
Okay, that's
Sweet.
Nathan over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Okay, and that's Matt
And that's
over
Matt,
there.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, totally cool. Love it. Thank you for bringing vinyl here today.
Absolutely.
Vinyl.
Anytime. And
The
then
book,
this is my book,
The
yay!
book.
Geek to
Yes.
Guitar Hero. And I wrote this a number of years ago, and
You know,
put
I
it out
think
myself.
what
Geek to Guitar Hero.
I mean, yeah,
love
it was just
that.
about being, not somebody not
It's
fitting in.
kind of your life story.
Yeah.
Well, what do you
So-
mean not fitting in?
I was just, being kind of being an outcast, being shy,
Mm-hmm.
not good at sports.
Yeah.
those are, I mean, not so huge now, but when you're a
Oh, yeah.
kid,
Yeah. That's
that
it
had to be a
is.
painful time for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah,
lonely.
very
Right.
lonely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
I ended up here, ended up doing this, because of that, by sticking to this path. So it's just about that
What about like
process. and-
I love it.
bullied? Were you bullied at all? or-
yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely.
Wow. I bet they're eating their crud now.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
none of the bullies.
I know
amount
what
to
they're
Bam.
like. Bam. That's right. We've got
Yeah.
books. We've got vinyl. We're
never-
doing
yeah.
concerts.
Yeah, they never amounted to anything.
But
And I
isn't
wish
that
I
all
knew
right?
that back then. I would just wouldn't have cared. My problem
Right.
Oh, but
it's
Exactly.
don't we all
partly
feel
my
that
fault because
way?
I cared. I wanted
Well,
approval.
and you want acceptance and to be part of things. And
Yes.
yeah.
And
But-
once I
And at that age,
got
it's
rid
hard.
of that, that was
Uh-huh.
the best thing I ever did.
Right, but
I would, if I could advise myself back then, I would
right. If
say,
you could tell yourself back then.
don't care about any of these people.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't matter.
But we know at that age, right? I always said I felt like that unicorn horn would come out of the middle of my head. So,
Right.
they know I'm different.
Yeah.
You don't know that at that age, and
Mhm.
it's very hurtful. And what impressed me about you having that book, and you show vulnerability
Uh-huh.
and sensitivity, and that's important for kids.
Yeah.
All right. Especially now
Absolutely.
more than ever. We were talking about social media. They didn't have that then, but the
Yeah.
amount of bullying and things that go on social media. Now, reading a book of somebody that is a successful musician like yourself saying, hey, you know what? I was not confident. Okay. How
Mhm.
all of this happened. And then look where we are now.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's an important message. Do you talk to kids? Do you ever do speaking or
Sometimes I'll do guitar workshops.
I love
Oh,
that.
nice.
Right.
And I'll talk about
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Right. I think that's
Master
really, really important,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, one question I have is the streak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that
Wait, hold on. It
is
flew
that-
over this way, Tim.
Oh yeah,
Is
it
that-
has a mind of its own.
It did
Is
it
that-
go over this way.
It does what
is-
it wants to do.
is that a conscious fashion choice,
No,
or is it
No, that's-
natural?
that showed up when I was.
Was
in,
it stress out of stress?
I don't
or
know.
out of-
There's a lot of theories.
I think
about
it's
it.
no, it's a gene. I was
trauma.
told it's a
I've heard
gene.
it's a birthmark. I've
That's
heard,
so cool.
You know, I hit my head. It's not. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, it just. I had
just
it.
started.
It was
That's
just. It was
amazing.
very small at first when I was in
Uh-huh.
high school, like just 1 or 2
In
hairs.
high school.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I would pull them out because I
Yeah,
thought, oh,
because
why,
that's like really, you know, wow.
why do
where
I
is it?
have
Yeah.
gray hairs? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kept coming, and then I thought, oh my god, I'm going to be prematurely gray
Right.
by
Uh-huh.
the time I'm 20 something.
Right.
And, I tried dyeing my hair, and I didn't like that look. I looked
Uh-huh.
like I was from Los Angeles.
Right.
Nobody
Never
wants
did.
to look like they're from LA.
I looked
I'm
like I was
just
in
kidding.
Motley Crue. Yeah, like
You look like- right.
Tommy Lee.
No,
So
but
I
this
thought,
is
all
just
right,
so-
I hated it. So I'm just, you know, what, I'm going to see what happens. And then it grew out, and it was more or less like this. And it
I'm
was-
great.
loving it.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
know,
And it's
right?
so distinctive. That's
Yeah.
what is so cool.
Yeah.
yeah, people think I thought of this. And,
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. I can't take the credit.
But it did migrate. While we were here,
Right.
Tim, it migrated. It kind of was like in the middle. And then I
Yeah.
noticed the more we talk, so it's like an entity unto
Yeah, it goes
itself.
to different places.
It goes, right. It travels to different places.
Well, now, how can people find out more about Alex Skolnick?
Well, I registered my name, luckily, before anybody
Mhm.
else. You know, it's tough when you're even if you're like a semi-public figure.
Yeah, right.
People, they grab your name. So a
Mhm.
lot of
Right.
musicians of mine, you know, they have to have underscores and
Yeah,
numbers. At
I've
the-
noticed
so
that, right.
You go to Twitter, just at Alex Skolnick. It's me.
Ah,
great.
Yeah.
Great.
For
You go
real.
to Instagram at Alex Skolnick.
Excellent.
It's me.
Uh-huh.
I was a little late on TikTok, so,
Uh-huh.
so that's the real Alex Skolnick.
right.
Okay. What about Facebook?
And Facebook, Alex Skolnick
Fan-
official.
Official, right.
Yeah.
Official.
But you
Okay.
don't
Fan
check in
page.
there that often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you and actually
Alex doesn't check in on there.
Where is it? Twitter and
no, actually Facebook, I'm there pretty often.
I sent you
Uh-huh.
2 friend requests on both Alex Skolnick.
Oh,
Didn't answer. Now the truth comes out. I sent you 2 friend requests.
okay, those are personal pages. I'll check. I'll accept you. But the page I'm referring to is it's a band page. No,
I'm
I,
just
yeah, no, the
joking.
That's
fan
not the
page.
fan
The
page.
fan page is
is-
good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the fan page. is
I
Alex
will-
Skolnick
good.
official
Right.
Alex Skolnick official fan page.
Right.
fan page.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not hard to find. There's a black and white photo of me.
And it looks
Mhm.
like you. All
Yeah.
you know what? You're very, and I'm sure you've heard this from people. You're incredible looking, very specific looks. I recognized you at Randy Edelman's party because I had seen you in a photograph with Jimmy Starr in LA.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm like,
very good.
oh, that's that guy from the photograph.
Oh, okay.
Now, there's no one else I would have recognized from the
Right.
photograph.
Right.
So I'm sure people tell you that all the time. And that's great. Don't ever rob a bank.
Thank you. I know. Not planning to.
Not anytime soon.
Oh, well, Alex Skolnick, thank you so much. I
Thank
so
you.
appreciate you
Absolutely.
taking some
Thank
time
you,
and
guys.
hanging out
This
with
was a
us.
lot of fun.
This
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah,
we
we
so
are fun.
appreciate
Tim
this.
and I are a lot
Thank
of
you,
fun.
And be
Tim.
sure-
Thank you, Wendy.
Absolutely. And be sure to check out Testament. Try to find out where they're going to be playing near you. Get a ticket and go see them.
Right.
And rock out.
I'm
Rock out. Yes. Well, it's obviously she has to go. She's
No,
getting
it's
ready.
a
call.
spam risk. It's only ever spam.
But anyway, thank you so much,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you,
We
everybody.
appreciate it.
Have